Hi there, it's Carl. Just a video today discussing really when to visit some of the wonderful arboretums there are in all over the world, really. This one, as many of you will now know, is my favourite place ever. It's Westonbirt Arboretum in Gloucestershire in the UK. So these comments obviously are based on the seasons being UK. This is the 6th of October, and just to give you a feel of what it's like walking around the Arboretum at that point. As you can see, it's quite a mixed bag really. There's quite a few different trees in different stages, and as you can see, some are definitely more advanced into their autumn colours than others. The tree here, quite typical, some really red leaves, quite a mixture, some green, just a whole combination really. So I've left this one run with its sort of native soundtrack just to hopefully understand the ambience of the place. Not busy, which is an advantage of going earlier on in the year, and really nice to sort of walk round, and it was quite peaceful really. They do have an overflow car park which is massive, and it was hardly used. So it's a nice time of year to go in early October to kind of beat the crowds. Someone mentioned about are the seeds or chimeras actually there? They are, as you saw just. They're all over the trees at the moment. But the interesting is, you think, well, perhaps I've come a bit too early. There's a lot of trees still looking green. And then you see some wonderful, wonderful examples of Acers that have already changed colour. And actually, just viewing the whole thing, I suppose, that you've got trees like this which are in the midst of changing from their summer sort of coloration into autumn or fall, I just find really interesting. It's that time of change that can be really enjoyed. I do also think and would say that at this point, okay, the colours aren't fully developed on many trees yet, but pretty much they are still covered with foliage. There's plenty of leaves there, if that makes sense, to enjoy. And again, on certain cultivars seem to be more advanced than others, or perhaps trees in certain places or certain exposures have done differently. So this one here is absolutely at its peak. I mean, it's just fantastic. And if I came back in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe that lovely tree will have gone past its prime and not look so good. I mean, you can tell from one of the two ones sort of coming that they are a bit perhaps past their best, or actually the ravages of the very hot summer we have kind of stripped some of their leaves, so they're never going to be, that brilliant. But again, they're not all red on this Acer, but you've got that combination, you've got the different colours all together. This is what I was sort of talking about. It's been sort of damaged during the summer, but going now, you can still see some colour from the tree, and that's lovely. It's lovely how the reds mix with some of the greens. I mean, absolutely vivid again. I don't think that's going to be around with if the wind blows hard and time progresses. It's worth remembering that these leaves, should I say, are basically being killed off by the tree. The tree's up taking the nutrients out of the leaves, and depending on the rate at which it does so and what nutrients it takes, that's why the leaves change colour. So eventually these trees will all be bare. So it's a bit of a knife-edge decision really to work out when's the best time to go. But again here, just lovely to see colour variation. Just note, of all the trees I think I've shown so far, they're all new to me. I don't own any of them. The number of cultivars at this place is just ridiculous. It's just fantastic. So every time you go, you're going to see something new, really. There's a tree there. There's the odd red one. Nice changes in the bark colour there too. What you don't get at this time of year is the kind of covering of acer leaves on the floor. You can see some there on some trees, but in some areas in the arboretum it really does get coated with leaves, which can look very nice indeed. And again, it's hard to know why these trees change at different times. This one's much bigger than some, and yet it's sort of nicely into that transition really. They're just enjoying all this, but the question then is, well, when's the right time to go? And I really springs to my mind that there is no right time to go. I know that's like I'm dodging the question, but with many of these places, you can join and get membership, or if they're fairly local to you, the best thing to do is visit more than once, to be honest. So my plan ostensibly is to enjoy this visit. I just to say as well, it was actually a really nice day. It was really quite warm for this time of year. The sun shone, as in this picture, several times. I'm so glad I went. It's not that I went too early. I just enjoyed the day anyway. It's absolutely fine. What I'll probably do is go back in a week, maybe 10 days, and then ideally we'll probably go down here on the very early into November, where again you're going to get more coloration, but you might get less leaves. So it's always a bit of a gamble. But going more than once has got to be the order of the day if you can possibly manage it. Just lovely. I think it's always nice to, on a summer's day, if the sun's shining particularly, to get in amongst the trees as well, get inside them and sort of photograph them from the inside out and have a look. The colours that they go through the leaves is just fantastic, really. I must say, actually, I mean, that's a Syrio, and mine in the back garden is about in the same state. So I think it's got more to do with the cultivar than where it is. This is 80 miles south of me. It's more exposed. I'm in an urban environment, and yet the advancement of the coloration seems to sort of mirror my trees and the ones here, actually. Lovely to see. Some it's amazing how they go from green to red. Other ones go a really bright yellow, which is fantastic. And just showing there's some lovely avenues of trees to look at as well. This is just crazy. I mean, the leaves are just so big and just fantastic, really. Really worth on these trips out to get off the paths as well. One, because you sort of see less people around sometimes, but actually there are main paths through this arboretum. But if you get off to the small paths or just onto the grass areas, which is fine, and out the way, you might find these little gems like this which aren't on the beaten track, really. You just would miss out. I mentioned in the previous video, if you are in the UK and you do visit Westonbirt, there is a sort of tree finder web app thing, which if you're looking for something specific, then that's fantastic too. Again, just lists and lists of Acers which I don't have. The old Arboretum's about 150 years old, so some of the trees are kind of generic because they're seedlings of the original trees here. Whereas on the western side, it's a newer sort of section of the Arboretum, so the planting tends to be cultivars that we might recognise. So even, just Atropoperum, it's just a generic Acer basically. It's nothing special in that sense, but at this time of year, just looking fantastic, really. There you go, generic Acer palmatum, but absolutely gorgeous. That's because that's probably a seedling of one of the original trees, so they can't name it. It wasn't grafted, it wasn't copied, so they're calling it a sort of generic name, really. So I suppose in summary, go in UK terminology in October and very early November. That's when actually these places advertise the autumn colours and stuff like that, so it's always good at keeping an eye in the press, etc., and on their websites. Also, I know Westonbirt publish regular videos, just sort of 30 seconds odd long, of the Arboretum, so you can sort of see and how it's progressing before you go. But as I said, if you don't live a million miles away, I really would strongly recommend going in. So early October, mid-October, and then late October into November, really, to sort of get the best of all possibilities. So just an update for subscribers really. As promised, I'm still working on a bit of a database to put together. To be honest, I'm just enjoying myself going to Westonbirt and Batsford, and that's where my spare time's going at the moment really, and doing videos like this. But in a few weeks' time, I'll sit down and get loads of information together, and hopefully that'll be a really nice thing to share with you all. I'm also going to share an email address fairly soon for subscribers too, in the hope that maybe you might send 1 or 2 pictures of your own trees into me, and then I'd be delighted to put them into a little sort of viewers video or something like that. We'll have a think about that too. So thanks ever so much. If you're subscribed already, that's brilliant. If not, please like and subscribe. It really does kind of help and motivate me to do more videos and stuff, and does that notification bell as well, just so you know when the next video lands. Take care and see you soon. Cheers.